Hi guys, my name is Tori. Today we're going to be doing a stress release flow, focusing on the shoulders, shoulder girdle, front of the body, back of the body, and the neck, just releasing, and a little bit of core work. So come to a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. Personal preference, whether you want to block or whatever props that you normally use for your practice, make sure you have those handy. I'm going to take a Sukhasana easy pose and just kind of welcome yourself to your practice today as you get settled in. So shifting the weight from side to side to get settled and feeling that anchoring, that grounding sensation. Placing your hands on top of the thighs in any way to release your shoulders down and away from your ears. If you're comfortable with closing your eyes, then find the comfort behind the darkness of your eyelids. Otherwise, you can set your gaze upon one thing. Kind of tune into your natural rhythmic breath without changing anything about it just yet. You notice the coolness of the room, coming in and up through the nose on your inhale. And the warmth that you create with your exhalation, the softening, the ease. So as you take a few moments here to just familiarize yourself with your breath, know that you can change your breath at any time in your practice to make it work for you. So if you work with your breath, your practice will be more effective. Not forcing anything. We're going to work with a particular breath today, a decompression breath. We'll take 3 rounds of that and then come back to the natural rhythmic breath just to observe. So wherever you are in your breathing, find a full and complete exhalation. And then invite the breath to deepen. Full inhale, complete inhale, pause. And then as you release the exhale, we'll create a sound, decompress. Really press that exhalation out. 2 more just like that. Inhale, create space, expansion in the body, and then exhale. 1 more, just like that. Inhale and exhale. Returning to your natural rhythm of your breath and just allowing yourself to observe. See with feeling, bringing all of your attention inward. See if you can maintain that through your practice. Sometimes that's hard to do. Coming back to the breath is a great way to guide you through that. And let's blink the eyes open. We're going to take a few rounds of seated cat-cow. So taking your hands to your knees, take a big deep breath in. As you draw the shoulders back, invite the thumbs to come back to the hip creases and drawing the shoulder blades towards one another. Open your heart. Celebrate that open heart. As you exhale, draw your chin towards your chest, bringing the hands back towards the knees. Taking just a few rounds, just like this. Using the in-breath to open the heart, shoulder blades towards one another. Exhale, round the spine, draw your chin towards your chest. Inhale. We're going to add that decompression breath. Exhale, open mouth, release. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Let's meet back in a neutral spine. Again, just taking a few moments to be mindful of our transitions. And notice your breath. Notice the quality of your breath. And notice any new sensations that might have come up. Welcome all of them. And then we'll take a nice big deep inhalation, reaching the arms up and overhead. Clasp the hands, reaching the palms away from the crown of the head. Create length in the side body as you stay anchored through the sits bones. You can have a nice bend in the elbows if you need to. Find that softness where it's needed. Just continue to energetically press the sky away from you. Pull the navel back towards the spine. We'll be here for about 3 more breaths, so be really patient with yourself here. Make sure that you have slow, deep, steady, smooth breath. That space in between inhale and exhale. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Bring the hands back to the back of your head and leave the elbows out to the sides. We're going to come back to that decompression breath. So take a nice big deep breath in. Find that energy from the base of the spine all the way to the crown of the head. As you exhale, don't press into the head, but just allow the traction to come into play as the arms fall towards the floor, the weight of the arms. We're going to use that same in-breath to open back up. Inhale, long spine. Decompress, exhale. 3 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale and exhale. We'll hold this one. Chin to chest, create space in the back body. Again, check back in with that quality of your breathing. Make sure you're staying nice and connected to your breath. You're not pulling on the neck, but just allowing the weight of the arms to fall towards the floor, creating that traction in the spine. Let's take one more deep breath here. Inhale and exhale. And coming back to a neutral spine. Take the arms out to the sides. If you need a couple of shoulder rolls, then by all means take them. Otherwise, we'll meet with the hands clasped once again, but back behind us this time. Again, find softness in the elbows if you need them. Draw the shoulders back, shoulder blades towards one another. And just open the heart. Spend a few breaths here. Again, celebrating that open heart space. Getting a little bit into that neck release, we'll take the clasp of the hands to the right hip. And with that, making sure I don't adjust my mic here, take a big deep breath in and then slowly begin to draw the right ear towards the right shoulder. You can invite movement into this if you'd like to, just bringing the chin slightly towards the chest and gazing up slightly, whatever works for you. Maybe that stillness of holding that place where you're really, really clinging on to that tension. Release. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And come back to center. You can take 1 breath here. Again, always being mindful of your transition gives us an opportunity as a reminder to slow down on and off the mat. Taking that clasp now to the left hip. Take a big deep breath in. As you exhale, left ear towards left shoulder. Sometimes it's a good reminder to shrug the shoulders up and then release. That way you're not creating tension when we're trying to release. Unnecessary tension, that is. A few deep breaths here. If you need that movement, take it. Maybe you didn't need it on the other side, but you do here. Just kind of check in with what sensations you're holding on to. 2 more breaths. And coming back to center. Release the clasp and let's meet in a tabletop position, all 4s. Neutral spine. So with that, setting up shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Knees are hip width distance apart. So we're going to do this in slow motion with that decompression breath. So allow yourself to move slower than you normally do through cat-cow. You can curl the toes if that's an option that you like to take in this posture. So we're going to take a nice big deep breath in, draw the shoulder blades together, melt your heart towards the mat, gaze slightly forward. Our decompression breath comes into play as you draw your chin towards your chest. Create space between the shoulder blades. Inhale, slow motion. Allowing yourself time and space to feel. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more, just like that. Inhale. And exhale. When you're ready, we'll find our very first downward facing dog. Curling the toes under, lift the hips high. And then just spending a few moments here. We're going to, again, play with that decompression breath. So press your chest back towards your thighs. And if you're feeling really tight in the back body, then make sure that you bring a ease into the knees by bending them slightly. And then taking an inhale. Exhale, decompress, maybe sinking a little deeper into the heels. One more breath here. Let's lift the right leg up and back behind you. With a slow, smooth transition, step the right foot through and lower down on the left knee. Inhale to reach the arms up and overhead. And create space between the low ribs and the hips. Draw the navel back towards your spine. One more breath here. Inhale. Create space and length. Exhale. Bring the left hand down to the inside of the right foot. Right arm extends to the sky as you lengthen out of your shoulder. Option to curl the toes for a little bit more stability, or even taking that right hand back to the sacrum, or maybe you even find the left hip. Spinning the heart to the sky, the top ribs. Breathe deeply. It's early in practice, but you always have that option to curl the toes under and lift that back leg. So depending on how you feel, check in with the breath. It'll always tell you. Let's take one more deep, conscious breath here. If you took the variation of the arm back behind you, extend up to the sky and bring the hand down to frame the foot. Let's step back to a 3-legged dog. We're going to come right back to the right foot forward, but this time stepping the right foot outside of the right hand. Lower the left knee down. Coming into lizard pose, whatever that means for you. So maybe you find forearms, maybe you find your block. Or leaving the arms extended is a great place to be as well. So just taking care of yourself wherever you need to. And in this lizard, we'll keep the right leg hugged in towards the right shoulder. Belly is toned. A few more deep breaths here. Keep pressing down through that right foot as you isometrically drag it back towards the left toes. So keeping that energy alive, that activation in the belly. And your breath is smooth, steady, and strong. Let's take one more breath here. Coming back to that 3-legged dog. Open the hip, spend as much time as you need to there, and we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Take a few moments here. Always an option to swim through movement if you'd like to. You can float forward, plank pose, pausing here, checking in with the upper and lower back. If you're lacking engagement, that's an indication to come to your knees. If you feel nice and strong there, Chaturanga Dandasana from your topical push-up. Shift the weight forward and lower down. Maybe you find a hover. Tops of the feet to the floor. Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale back to downward facing dog. And taking that same sequence on the other side, this time left leg floats to the sky. Open the hip for as many breaths as you need to be there. Finding movement. Maybe you make that figure 8 or find some ankle mobility, whatever works for you. One more breath. Extend the leg back behind you. Exhale. Bring the left foot forward as you transition slow and smooth through this. Let's find Anjayanasana, low lunge on this side. Arms reach up overhead. Just kind of settling into this posture. This time, right hand to the inside of the left foot, spinning the left fingertips to the sky. Breathe deeply. Again, that option to bring the hand back behind you or left hand to right hip. You're getting a little bit more rotation in the top shoulder. 2 more breaths. Extending the left arm up to the sky. Let's take a vinyasa from here. So stepping back, either find your down dog, or if you're going to flow with me, flow forward. And let's do knees, chest, chin. So lowering the knees, elbows back behind you, lower chin and chest to the floor. We'll float right into our back bend, cobra pose. Drawing the shoulders back, lifting your heart, extending the spine. Exhale, downward facing dog. Find movement, find stillness, what works for you to reestablish a connection to your breath. Taking the left leg up and back behind you, we'll come to lizard on the other side. This time stepping the left foot outside of the left hand. Your variation, whether you would like to take that forearm to the floor variation or block, our arms stay extended. Again, we're going to just continue to hug that left knee in towards the left shoulder. A few deep breaths here. One more breath. Inhale and exhale. 3-legged dog is where we'll meet. Lift the left leg up and back behind you. Finding downward facing dog. Let's take the right leg up and back behind us once again. We'll meet in a Anjaneyasana, low lunge, stepping the right foot forward, lower down, that left knee. And getting light and lifted on the fingertips, curl the back toes under. Work both legs to straight and strong. We're going to move in a dynamic way. It's a great opportunity for you to establish a connection to your breath. So as you do, we're going to bend into that right knee, lower down on the left. And then on the exhale, that decompression breath that we've been using, we're going to come back to that. Curl the toes under and straighten the back leg. It's a variation of pyramid pose. The legs are a little wider apart. As always, if you need to adjust and hop that back foot up to be more comfortable, then go for it. The space here allows us to bend into that right knee with mindfulness and ease. So whatever works for you, kind of play with the movement. Your exhalation, both legs are straight and strong. Your inhale, bend the knee. Light and lifted on the fingertips, maybe you lift the heart. Exhale. Inhale, bend the knee, come forward, lift the heart. Exhale. Let's take 2 more just like that. Lower the knee down, lift the heart, light and lifted on the fingertips. Exhale, decompress. You can also do this decompression breath with your mouth closed. It's Ujjayi, our victorious breath, our yogi breath. Last one, we're going to hold that variation of pyramid pose. Big, deep breath in. How much space can you create here? Exhale. Kind of squaring that torso more towards that leg. You can stay light and lifted on the fingertips, or the palms rather. Maybe a yes-no motion with your head. Find movement or stillness. Two more breaths here. We're going to take the right leg back into that 3-legged dog. Bend the knee and lifting the right leg up and back behind you. Open the hip. Stay here for as long as you need to before we meet back in downward facing dog. We're going to swim through movement once again. So if you would like to stay in down dog to connect back to your breathing, go for it. Otherwise, let's float forward. Knees, chest, chin. Once again, let's lower the knees, chest, chin, hang out here. Inhale, float into your back bend, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Same thing on the left side. As you inhale, take the left leg up and back behind you. Open the hip. Soft, smooth landing, Anjaneyasana, low lunge, lower down on the right knee. From here, we're going to come back to that dynamic movement, that variation of pyramid pose. So curl the back toes under, both legs are straight and strong, melt the torso into the front leg. And use your inhale to bend into that left knee, lower the right knee down, light and lifted on the fingertips, lift your heart. Decompress, both legs are straight and strong. And keep moving with your breath, bend the knee, lower that right knee down, light and lifted on the fingertips. Exhale, decompress, breath out. Inhale. Remember, you can do this with your lips slightly sealed, practicing our victorious breath. Let's do 2 more and we'll hold. Inhale and exhale. Make sure that if you need the floor to come closer to you, that you have your blocks to frame the foot. 1 more breath, then we hold. Exhale. Let's hold here. One more breath. Taking the left leg up to that 3-legged dog, open your hip. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Taking a few moments in down dog just to reestablish your connection to your body and your breath. So if you need a child's pose to do that, that's an option. Or maybe meeting yourself somewhere in the middle with a puppy pose. Essentially downward facing dog on your knees. One more breath here. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Taking the right leg up and back behind you. Knee to nose on the exhale. Inhale. Come back to lifted. This time we're taking the right knee to the left tricep. Inhale. And exhale, right knee, right tricep. Taking the right leg up and back behind you, step the right foot through, warrior 2. Pivot on the back heel, spin the arms up, arms are parallel to the mat. And find a few moments here just to make friends with your warrior 2. We're going to add a dynamic movement. Belly is toned. When you're ready, let's flip the palms, working both legs to straight. Bring your gaze up towards the fingers. Exhale, sit back into that bent knee, warrior 2. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Warrior 2 is where we'll meet. Reverse your warrior when you're ready. Inhale, bring the fingertips back behind you. Let's find a half moon pose. So once again, your block might come in handy. Bringing the right hand in front of the right foot. Launch off of the left leg. And bringing the left arm up to the sky. Take your gaze wherever you feel most stable. Maybe you work your gaze up the more connected you come into your breathing. Now, bending a little bit into that right leg, maybe you bring the right hand to heart, or not. Maybe you bring right hand to the heart. Let's step right back into warrior two. Bring the hands down and around, flow through movement. Maybe you find knees, chest, chin, chaturanga on your knees, topical push-up, whatever works for you. Same thing, other side, as you lift the left leg up and back behind you, knee to nose. And extend the leg back behind you. This time, left knee to right tricep. Extend the leg back behind you. Left knee, left tricep. Extend. Knee to nose. This time we step through. Warrior two. Pivot on the back heel. Arms are parallel to the mat. Hang out here for a few breaths. Breathe in a way that's conscious. Let's add that dynamic movement. On your inhale, palms face the sky. Palms reach up. Gaze up towards your fingertips. Exhale. Settle back, warrior two. Inhale. And exhale. Where I was going. Shit. Reversing your warrior. Coming into that half moon. Taking the left hand in front of the left foot. And finding, add a little softness into the left knee and bring the left hand to the heart. Gaze where you're stable. One more breath. Warrior two, soft, smooth landing. Reverse your warrior. Bring the hands down. Let's take a vinyasa. Float forward, plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Cobra pose. Draw the shoulders back, lift your heart. Exhale, back to child's pose. It can be a wide leg child's pose if you want to release the low back. Maybe you find the legs together. Breathe deeply into the knees and find a digestive massage. Extend the arms out in front of you. Pop up to the fingertips and walk your hands to the right. Anchor the weight into that left sits bone. Shoulder width distance apart with the arms as your head rests right in the center. Let's take a couple of those decompression breaths. You can pop up to the fingertips to create more space in your shoulders. Let's take a nice big deep inhale. Decompress on the exhale. One more. Inhale and exhale. Walk back to center. Let's take one breath here. Inhale and exhale. Popping up to the fingertips, taking your hands to the left. Keep your weight anchored into that right hip. Deep breaths. Inhale. Decompress. Exhale. Two more. Inhale and exhale. One more. Inhale and exhale. Come back to center. Find more of a passive child's pose for just a couple breaths. Just release. Maybe facilitate a little bit of hip mobility if that works for you. Massage the third eye space. And a couple more breaths here. On your next inhale, let's find all fours. I'm going to turn my back to you guys so I can kind of show you where we're going to go here. Hopefully we found a little bit more ease in the shoulders with that, taking spear shape with the hands or Shiva. I like to take Shiva. It helps me kind of get my grip a little bit tighter here. Shiva is fingers interlaced with the index finger extended, thumbs are crossed. Your spear shape would be here. So whatever works for you. Maybe you even find a reverse warrior just by kind of wiggling those hands up in between the shoulder blades. I personally prefer Shiva. Helps me to draw my shoulders back, shoulder blades towards one another, and breathe. I personally am finding a little bit more ease in my shoulders, so hopefully you feel that opening, that release. A couple more breaths here. And let's find our way back to downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. We're going to reach the right leg up and back behind us. Open the hip. And if you have a wild thing in your practice, now is a great time to do that. Slowly taking that right foot back behind you. Lift the hips. Open the front of the body. And breathe. And coming out the way you came in. Downward facing dog. Let's take the right foot forward into pigeon pose. Before we relax in our pigeon pose, which I promise we'll get to, we're going to pop up to the fingertips, taking them to frame the knee and the foot, or as much as you can. And think about taking them a little wider than shoulder width distance apart. Pop up to your fingertips. We're going to use that decompression breath. So our inhale will lift the chest. That decompression breath will sink into that leg. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Inhale, decompress, exhale. Inhale, decompress, exhale. One more, then we hold our pigeon. Inhale and exhale. Take the arms in front of you to a block, whatever works for you. Facilitate hip mobility. If you need some wiggle room to find that place to settle, then go for it. Couple more breaths. Let's kick back to a three-legged dog. Plant the hands, curl the back toes under, and lift the right leg up and back. Open the hip. Downward facing dog. Left leg up and back behind you. Open the hip. We'll do wild thing if you did it on the first side. And know that you can modify your wild thing by bringing the knee down. Same idea of opening the front of the body. So here's your modification for wild thing on your knee. Just be careful you're not torquing that right knee. Deep breaths. And coming into pigeon on the left side, bringing the left leg forward. Right leg extended back behind you. And we'll do the decompression breath first. So bringing the hands wider than the shoulders, popping up to the fingertips. Big deep breath in. Exhale, decompress. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Let's hold pigeon on the left side. However you want to find more of a passive pigeon pose. And the decompression breath, with releasing all that stale air and energy that we tend to hold on to, is a really great way to connect to your Ujjayi breath during your practice, your victorious breath. So coming back to that will help you establish a deep, conscious connection to your breathing. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Curling the back toes under, plant the hands as you lift the torso, take the left leg up and back behind you to open the hip here, downward facing dog. Let's shift the weight forward into plank pose and lower all the way down to your belly. Find a prone position. We're going to find Sphinx pose. Sphinx pose, bringing forearms to parallel as you press into the palms, and isometrically drag them back as you feel the chest move forward. Keep the legs active, so you're pressing into the big toe and pinky toe evenly. And just celebrate this little baby back bend. Always feels great, especially when you keep the legs activated. Turning on the posterior really allows that sensation in the low back, the extension of the spine. Draw the shoulders back. 1 more breath. So let's extend the arms in front of us. We'll take the right arm under the left and then walk your left fingertips as far to the right, your right fingertips as far to the left. Karate chop your hands here. And we'll hang out here in this nice little shoulder stretch for a few breaths. Belly is toned, your belly stays nice and active. 2 more breaths. Let's switch sides. This time we slide that left arm under the right. Breathing in any way that's conscious. So you might need to release through an open mouth exhalation. That's why those decompression breaths too are great for your practice and your breath connection. 1 more breath. And then release this. And let's press up to an all fours tabletop position. Sitting the hips back to the heels. If you need a block underneath the sits bones, please take it. Be mindful of, we're going to be here for a few breaths, so if you need to have that reminder of keeping the spine nice and long and the energy from the base of our spine all the way up, then please take a block to the sits bones. Otherwise, we're going to take the right arm, much like we did when we were just in that prone position, and taking the right arm out to the left. Take your left arm and hook it under the right, and just give yourself a nice little stretch as you gaze over the right shoulder. Engage your Hasta Bandha, your hand lock. And just breathe here. We're going to use that decompression breath to continue to get into the shoulder. So as you inhale, lift the left fingertips towards the sky. That'll carry the right arm with it. And as you exhale, just slowly lower down towards the belly button, the navel. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. 1 more. Inhale, exhale. Come back to center. Let's take a few rounds of cat-cow, so sliding the thumbs back to the hip crease. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Slide the hands down towards the knees. Inhale, open the heart, shoulder blades towards one another. Exhale, round the spine. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Come back to the neutral spine. We'll take the left arm out to the right side. This time, right arm hooks underneath the left. Same thing, other side, taking the right fingertips to the sky. Inhale. Decompress. Lower the elbows down towards the navel. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Take your cat-cows if you need them, or maybe roll the shoulders. We'll meet back in a neutral spine in about 3 breaths, so move in any way that feels good to you. Breathe in any way that feels good to you. Like I mentioned before, if you're breathing in a conscious way, you're breathing correctly. Let's meet back in that neutral spine. We'll take an easy twist. As you inhale, reach the arms to the sky, create length and space. Let's twist to the right by bringing the left hand outside of the right leg. Right fingers back behind you. Keep the spine long, belly toned. And see that you can add a little bit of ease into that right elbow. It'll give you a little bit more rotation in the shoulder. Deep conscious breaths. Two more breaths here. Inhale, reach the arms up. Let's twist to the other side. This time, the right hand finds the outside of the left thigh. Left fingertips back behind you. Remember that ease in the elbow helps with a little bit more rotation. Come into it with the breath. So as you inhale, we're creating more length in the spine. As you exhale, you're settling into that twist without force. Two more breaths. And coming back to center, let's cross at the ankles to find a seat, making our way to a reclined position. So we'll bend the knees and take the arms into extension, palms facing one another, slow and controlled. Make your way to the floor, taking a full body stretch. Once you get there, reach the arms overhead, extend the legs. Get as long as you can if you need to come back to your breathing to do that. Inhale and exhale. And then hug your knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. Gently rock from side to side. If you need a happy baby, or if you want to come into your favorite twist, you have a few moments here to do that. And if you prefer a longer shavasana, that's always an option as well. You just begin to set up by extending the legs long, taking your arms alongside your body. And taking at least 5 minutes for yourself in a shavasana, allowing yourself to let go, as well as allowing your practice to settle in and marinate. Taking what you've gathered from your practice, and taking this time for yourself, so staying in Shavasana for at least 5 minutes, like I mentioned, or maybe even coming up to a seated meditation. So you have the time to take care of yourself here, practice a little bit of self-release, so take it. Thank you for sharing your practice today. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste.